Setting boundaries takes a lot of work. However, healthy boundaries play an enormous role in improving your mental health and well-being. So today I'm talking about why boundaries improve your mental health and how to set boundaries that actually work. So let's talk about boundaries. Hi, I'm Jeremy Godwin, and I talk about looking after your mental health with simple advice based on quality research and personal experience from someone who actually understands what it's like to go through mental health challenges. Boundaries can be defined simply as what you will and will not allow in your life. Think about a house. Most houses have fences, which are a clear signal to other people and to yourself to show where your space begins and ends. And it sends a message that being in that space requires your permission. It's not necessarily about trying to keep people out, but it's about providing clarity on what your limits are. When it comes to boundaries of mental health, it's about setting parameters and limits on what you will and will not accept from others and from yourself. Boundaries matter because they help you to clearly define what you will and will not accept in your life. And that's important because if you don't define what you will and will not accept, then other people will do it for you. And you very well may not like it. Some people might feel like setting boundaries is rude, especially with family members. But the fact is that we all have a right to decide how we want to live our own lives. And I think that provided that you do that in a way that does no harm to others or to yourself, that is kind to others and to yourself, and that gives more than you take from others and from yourself, then it's completely healthy to put your needs and your well-being first because you are your own person. You can do that in a way that is kind and one which isn't selfish. Basically, setting boundaries is about treating yourself with respect and recognizing that your needs matter. Because without boundaries, you cannot be clear on what you're willing to accept and what you are not. So let's talk about 5 ways to set healthy boundaries, starting with consider your needs. Consider what's important to you, what's working, what's not working, what makes you feel comfortable versus uncomfortable, etc. And think about what types of boundaries you might need to look at. Some examples of setting boundaries are not being taken advantage of, not being taken for granted, not taking responsibility for another person's actions or having to look after them, not accepting abuse of any kind, such as emotional, mental, verbal, financial, or physical abuse, not feeling devalued or disrespected for who you are and what you believe in. This is about listening to your feelings and trusting your gut so that you can clearly identify what you need and why. Next, be respectful and fair. Because we need to consider how we can manage our needs in a way that doesn't do harm to others. Everything in life is about a balance of give and take. So your needs should be mutually respectful of others as well. For example, you might not like what your partner or relative does for something specific, but provided it isn't doing anyone any harm, it's got nothing to do with you, so just let them get on with things. Okay, next, decide what you will and will not give your attention to. Because boundaries are just as much about you and your choices as they are about other people. So you need to think about what you focus on because where your attention goes is always your choice. If you don't want to be exposed to social media accounts that make you feel bad about yourself, then unfollow them. If the news makes you feel miserable, stop watching it. I scan the headlines online once a day, and that's it. I'm still informed, but I don't get involved in all of the drama of the news because most of it is designed just to keep us watching so that more ads can be presented to us. Here's the thing, when you are clear on what matters to you, like I said earlier, you can then make choices about what you will and will not allow into your life. And my view on life is this. If it doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter, so let it go. Okay, next, use tools and resources to help you stick to your boundaries. This might sound weird, but hear me out. When you're dealing with other people, you can do things to make it easier for yourself, like switching off notifications if they tend to bombard you, or having just a daily summary shown on your screen. For example, if you have a relative who tends to be overly chatty, you can set a subtle timer to remind you to gently end the call after half an hour hour. There are lots and lots of different things that you can do that will help you to reinforce your boundaries and keep them in place, so use them. Speaking of resources, my next point is get support from a professional. Because working with a counselor or therapist can help you to work through different issues, as well as exploring ideas for how to tackle challenging situations. And that's something that you can sort through with them in a safe space with someone who isn't going to judge you or be weighed down by an emotional attachment to you. And let me also say that if your boundaries aren't being respected, then make sure that you say something in a kind but assertive way, because a boundary that isn't enforced is just an imaginary line. The choice is yours, as it is with all things related to your well-being. So, what choice will you make today? Let me know in the comments below. And boundaries are just one aspect of looking after your well-being, and I talked about even more foundations of good mental health in this video. Watch it now for more simple tips, and while you're at it, subscribe to my channel for new videos every week. Plus, check out my weekly podcast, Let's Talk About Mental Health. It's linked in the description below. Thanks so much for joining me, take care, and talk to you next time.